My name is Robinson Okenye. For the next 1 hour, we'll be taking a look at what is happening in the world of sports. And today, our focus will be majorly on football. The Football Kenya Federation Premier League and the English Premier League. But remember, Football Kenya Federation Premier League was renamed to the Sportpesa League. Yes, the Sportpesa League. That will be our focus today. And in studio with me is Makumi Tabitha. Good afternoon, Makumi. Good to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
How is Offside?
Offside is doing amazing. We
Yes.
are so blessed to be able to talk about Kenyan football, try to elevate the names of the players who are playing, and also bring people to watch the local league. Yes.
Naona umevaa jezi ya timu kubwa, the one and only, the mighty.
Shabana
The
Nemo.
mighty Shabana. Yes, as they say, Shabana Nemo. Cedric Musumba is also here with us. Sedo, how are you doing? Good to see you. Of course, we were together yesterday, and today we are going to talk about a lot about the Sportpesa League as well as the English Premier League. Also, remember today the EPL trophy will be coming here in studio in probably the next 10 minutes. So we'll get to see the EPL trophy here in studio with us. We'll have to talk about the trophy. Remember, it has been around since 1992 and why it weighs 25 kgs and a lot of things about the English Premier League trophy and the 7 teams that have won that trophy. That will be in a bit. But I want us to begin with the Sportpesa League. And before we get into that today, we are asking a very simple question. A very simple question. Remember, the big match for this weekend is between FC Leopards and KCB. So we are asking a very simple question. And that question is, Mark, can we see the question? That question is, how many games has FC Leopards won this season in the Sportpesa League? Very simple question. How many games has FC Leopards won this season in the Sportpesa League? Now, the 2 correct answers will get to walk away with these thermo flasks that we have here in studio. You get to walk away with this thermos flask. The first 2 correct answers, as well as a jersey from Sportpesa. So let's repeat that question one more time. Let's repeat that question one more time. How many games or matches has FC Leopards won this season in the Sportpesa League? One more time. How many matches has FC Leopards won in the Sportpesa League this season? You can give your answer. You can tweet at X, that is at R_Kenya, and at KTN News KE. Also, you can send an SMS. The number to send the SMS is 22151. The number to send an SMS is 22151. We'll be seeing that question in a bit. Mark is working on it. We'll be seeing in a bit. But before, let's get into the Sportpesa League fixtures that we have for this weekend. Remember, yesterday we had only one match on the cards, and Mara Sugar settled for a barren draw against Bidco United. And then Kariobangi Sharks will be taking on APS Bomet, and the match that is currently going on, Kakamega Homeboys vs Ulinzi Stars. You also have an affinity towards Kariobangi Sharks.
That's my favorite team.
This is your favorite team?
Yes.
Yes. Kakamega Homeboys will be taking on Ulinzi Stars, and FC Leopards will be in action against KCB. That is the big game of the weekend. FC Leopards in action against KCB, and then Muranga Seal versus Tusker. Remember, Muranga Seal and Tusker, they just follow each other on the log of the Sportpesa League. Now, aside from that, also tomorrow we have a couple of fixtures, and which will see Shabana take on Mathare United, an interesting game that will be played at the Gusii Stadium. Gor Mahia will be in action against Posta Rangers at the Nyayo National Stadium. And then the other 2 fixtures that we have for the day, that is on Sunday, we'll see 2 more fixtures that we have for Sunday. Mark? Yes, we'll be getting to see the two other fixtures that we have that will be played on Sunday, aside from Gor Mahia taking on Posta Rangers and Shabana facing Mathare United at the Gusii Stadium. But we want to get into that conversation, Cedric Musumba. Let's begin with the FC Leopards versus KCB. That is the big match that we have for this weekend. And let me begin with you, Tabitha, before we go to Cedric. Yes. What are you expecting from that time between FC and KCB?
Yeah. It's going to be a very interesting game. First of all, looking at Coach Matano, the way he has been able to transform KCB. We saw the first game, Bajaj, who left Gor Mahia and joined KCB, has really been performing well. And he scored the first 2 goals for KCB when they started the league. Even when KCB played against Kariobangi Sharks, in as much as we didn't get a point, they got the 3 points. They've really, Coach Matano has really transformed that team. We have the likes of people like Jack Onganya, who just came up from trials, and he's been really performing well. So overall, I feel like KCB has an edge over AFC Leopards, because I think them losing someone like Levis Opio, who I think was a really good goalkeeper for them, has really stung them. You watch the game, like the one they played against Posta Rangers, they create the chances. Yes, you have Kelly Madada, you have Victor Kunaguero, and they can score all these goals, but also at the same time, it's the little mistakes they have. Goalkeeper communication, I don't know how many barrier they have, because he's not Kenyan and he doesn't speak the local language, so he's not able to communicate well with his defense line, and they concede really bad goals. Like, they score and then in a few minutes they concede. You're like, no. So if they don't fix the mistakes they have with the defense and the goalkeeper, they're definitely going to be beaten by KCB.
Cedric, Tabi is saying that, you know, your favorite team in the league, that is FC Leopards, is going to have a tough afternoon against KCB. Do you agree?
It's a good turnaround. Remember, this is a team that actually is riding on aspect that it hasn't lost any game. That spirit of not losing a game also drives them to the instance that if it happened to pick 3 points, actually they will skyrocket themselves from the 15th position they occupy currently to almost at the mid-table. And even maybe if we continue with that particular kind of form, they might find themselves actually challenging for that trophy. So as she said, it's just all about the game management. They need to understand their game very well, settle down very fast, and also know when is to protect their lead. Just as I said, I told you yesterday, this is a team that is able to score, and we have seen they can score goals.
Yes.
The only thing that has been delving them is to defend those particular goals until the tail end of 90 minutes or 90 plus minutes. So as to say, once they realize themselves that they have gone ahead and commanded that particular game, they need also to understand, and that also aspect comes all along from the technical game, the technical bench, because the game readability, they have all avenues, simply because they are seeing this game from the outside skirt of that particular field. They can know who is really not performing, who does not offer the defensive services. Because not every player in that particular pitch moves, when they move forward, things to fall back and offer the defensive services that are needed. Some player plays to the essence that I've been deployed to command my only department. So as if I lose as a striker, I don't think of falling back and go and offer the services that the defense that are needed. If I lose that particular ball as a midfielder, I don't necessarily, offensive midfielder, I don't necessarily think like I can offer my service as become the first line of defense. And that's what actually FC Leopard has been lacking. Also, she has spoken about game communication. My understanding about football is that the communication actually build all the way back from the goalkeeper. If the goalkeeper who actually sits at that particular space, seeing all the proceedings from behind, if he does not actually come on the top of his well, that's calling all the defensive, all the wing back, all the central defenders to come and offer the cover that he needed, he will never have a clean sheet. The clean sheet actually culminates from how he communicates with his defensive line. So as to say, they need to understand that they can score, and they have demonstrated that they are scoring goals. So now they need to come back and also factor in that once you have scored, you need to start defending your lead.
Tabi, do you feel like probably FC Leopards, now that they've not won a game this season, they have 3 draws, do you feel like probably they're putting too much pressure on the youngster Kelly Madada?
Yeah, I think if at the beginning of the league, if he had Victor Omune had come in a lot sooner, they would have definitely eased that pressure that Kelly has. I definitely believe that he has a lot of pressure right now.
Yes.
So I think, yes, Kelly is someone you can always depend on. He's going to give you those goals. But at the same time, you also need to have options. Things happen where someone gets an injury. And that's the thing where I feel like having really good squad depth can really help the team. They have just signed Kinyanjui, who has been amazing when he was at KCB. He's really moved from different clubs, but he's a really good player. I think employing someone like that who can create those chances and then just getting a finisher who just finishes off will definitely ease the pressure of Kelly. So yeah, I do agree with you. He has a lot of pressure on his hand, but they need to ease that pressure from him.
Sedo, Matano knows FC very well. Having coached FC, being at Tusker, playing against FC, being at Sofa Parker, played against FC. He's a man that is coming into this match knowing that they need to recover from the position that they are in the league and move up for KCB.
You know, the only way to beat FC Leopard is all about to play around the psychological nature. This is a team that actually moves around the fans. At the moment they drop and the fans actually start castigating them, the urge and the rhyme to actually to drive that aspect of getting goals started weighing low, and also brings in the essence of this player start now becoming indisciplined. Remember, they will play with some sort of emotions when they are down, simply because they will be looking for an essence, so turning around the thing and maybe impressing the fans. And also what comes from that particular touchline, more so from the terraces, does not impress when FC Leopard is down. It's only a kind of dancing essence when FC Leopard is commanding the game or is riding on up the game. Has mentioned the likes of Kelly Madanda, also mentioned the likes of Kinyanjui, who actually drives from the wing. Those are kind of the creative player that they have in this particular team. But watching FC Leopard, they don't drive that ball with an essence of really playing the teammate in that team. Each and every time they get the ball, their focus is on the target. Remember, it's a team kind of style of play. Anytime you get this kind of creative player, they need to know that if you are a creative player, hold on that particular ball, bring up aspect of creativity so that you can call or invite your opponent, 3-4 opponent, create space for the player within your team to run and maybe create those chances of scoring. But if any given time you get that particular ball as a midfielder and you are creative midfielder and you clearly focused on getting on the target, you are messing up the entire aspect of getting those goals in that particular team. So as to say, FC Leopard has all avenues and all whatever that is right. If Matano wants to beat FC Leopard, he will only beat FC Leopard on one aspect. Go get a goal and make them start frustrated. At the moment those players plays with an emotion of frustration, they will lose simply because fans will be on them. The insult will be actually flying in that particular pitch all over from that terraces, and that works against the team.
Yes, sir. I remember we are asking you a very simple question today. How many matches has FC Leopards won this season in the Sportpesa League? How many matches has FC Leopards won this season in the Sportpesa League? You can tweet to us at r_Kenya at KTN News KE, and you can also SMS. That is, the SMS number is free, 22151. The first two correct answers get to walk away with Sportpesa merchandise. We have 2 thermoflasks here in studio as well as a Sportpesa jersey. So the first 2 correct answers, you get to walk away with Sportpesa merchandise that we have here in studio as well as Sportpesa jersey. So the question one more time is, how many matches has FC Leopards won this season in the Sportpesa League? It's a very, very simple answer. Very simple question, very simple answers. And if you are careful, Tabitha and Cedric have actually given that answer as we were discussing this. So, Cedric, who's winning this afternoon at 4 p.m.?
It's a tight goal to game, but FC Leopard will have to win if they want to enjoy the essence of moving with their fans, including me. If they want to count on me, they need to beat KTB.
Hey, Tabitha, who's winning?
KCB.
KCB.
Yes.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. Now, the other match that is currently going on, Kakamega Homeboys is leading Ulinzi Stars 1-0 at the moment. So we'll be waiting to see at full time who will emerge the winner in that time. But at the moment, Kakamega Homeboys with a 1-0 win, lead against Ulinzi Stars. Now, let's take a look at the other fixture that we have on the cards today. That match begins in the next 10 minutes. It will be Kariobangi Sharks against APS Bomet. After promotion, Tabitha, yes, APS came in with lots of oomph. They wanted to show that, we've joined the big boys. We are ready to dine with the big boys.
Yes.
But the big boys will not let you have time to enjoy yourself. And
yes,
they've actually witnessed that. Remember, when they came in, their first match was against Shabana. It ended 4-2. After that, they lost their next match. And
yes,
again, they lost. So, probably, what's not happening with APS Bomet? I mean, before even they came to the league, they unveiled a very big committee of, the people that will be handling. And then we thought that, this is the way things are supposed to be done. What's not happening with the servicemen?
I think their structure is just off all over the place. And I also believe the players that they have not really matched up to the league, the other players of the league. I think when you watch like the game against Shabana, yes, they created good chances. You've seen someone like Enoch Wanyama, who played for Gor Mahia, now went to APS Bomet, and he's a really good player, but you feel like he's the only one who wants that win. Yes, you've conceded 2 goals. You've now conceded 3, but at least you have 2 on the other side. But you're not pushing yourself where you're fighting till the last minute. And that's what happens in the league. When you don't push yourself every single time till the last minute, you're obviously going to get punished. And today I'm also hoping they also get punished again by Kariobangi Sharks, in as much as...
Because you have some affinity towards Kariobangi Sharks.
That's my team, yeah,
yes.
That's my team. So in as much as, yes, you look at Kariobangi Sharks, we've already had numerous injuries, but at the same time, the last game where we played was our first win and our first game that we were able to score. So we also need to culminate that to this game where we score in the second game. APS Bomet, I think they just have to go restructure. I know they have just sacked their coach before we went for this break that we had. Yeah. So I'm hoping that the new coach comes in and brings something new to the table, and they have to realize they're playing with the big boys, they also have to behave like the big boys.
Sedo, they are playing with the big boys, they have to behave like the big boys, but they've not been behaving like the big boys.
You know, looking at how our Premier League has been structured previously, and maybe the current structure of FKFPL or Sportpesa PL,
yes,
does not result actually far from APS, simply because one of their counterpart, whom they were promoted with, is representing the country at the Confederation Cup. That's a clear demonstration that the lower league, the lower tie, is quite capable to challenge the upper tie here in Kenya. And if you go by how the likes of Nairobians are playing, whom and again they played against and they were promoted together, does not actually separate their stature of play from the so-called, whom we can refer to as the big boys. So I don't necessarily think it's all about the stage frighten. And to the extent that they started their game by losing, recultivating themselves and coming back to the game will take a little bit of time, simply because of that aspect of whom are you playing with and where are you playing with. Also the traversing kind of the country, how they are moving around, and each and every time they are playing teams that commands fans. Also that actually brings the aspect of you trying to shaken off a little bit. But maybe 5, 4, 6 down the matches, they will have settled and maybe started grinding their points.
Yes, Tavi.
Yeah, I wanted to say on what he has said about Nairobi United. I think Nairobi knew they were going into the league, they were going to play the Confederations, and they invested in the players. Something I always believe in as much as you're coming from NSL to the league, you definitely have to have players who have played in the league. You look at Nairobi, they have had Shami Winyekibwana who comes from Posta. Also at the same time, they have signed Ovelo Cheng, who came from AFC, one of their best players. I don't know why they sold him. So you are coming into the league, you need people who have played in the league, people who know what it's like. That kind of experience will really
But I beg to differ on that particular stature. Reason being, if you talk about investing so as actually to honor certain matches, our so reigning champion of the league, they have invested heavily. How have they fared on a continental showpiece? Actually, they have embarrassed the country.
They lost yesterday.
And they have actually is the team that has spent, I think, if the bank were to be broken, police would have broken the banks in the Kenyan football. But if you go by how they have represented this country, even somebody would wish that either FC or Gor Mahia would have gone there and done some justice to the country.
At the same time, when you talk about continental football, it's totally different from local football.
But the conversation here, if you remember, I'm referring what Nairobi United are doing at the continental level vis-a-vis investment that they have done, similarly comparable to police and what they are doing at the continental.
That is why they sacked their coach. Remember, for Nairobi United, they have an experienced coach. A man that has managed to, make the team play for him. That is why they defeated Gor Mahia in that final to get that chance to go to Confederation Cup. And hopefully today they will do something great. Yes,
okay, let me say something about police. He's mentioned about they have these experienced players, but the thing with police is the team is just all over the place. You look at Nairobi United, if you're not getting the goal from someone like Machaka, you have Karamor, you have Duncan Omala, you have all these people. You look at police, who do they have? Apart from Simiu, Ondimo, who was played so well at Sofapaka, has come to this team and scored, I think, 2 goals, one in the games they had for the Kagame Cup.
Yes.
But other than that, they don't have people who can score goals for them. Zakayo is really trying, but we are not seeing that. You look at another game, Police, they're playing players out of position. You see, Sakari, we know him, he's a right back. Playing him as a left back. We have someone who has played all his life as a left back,
yes,
but you don't want to put him in that position. You want to shift another player to that position. And then you look at that game, they concede. It's the coach has really... let me say, for lack of a better
jumbled up
word,
everything.
Yes, yes.
Hold on to that thought. I want us to take a short break. When we come back, we continue that conversation on the Sportpesa League and the fixtures that we have for this weekend. Remember, the match that is currently going on is between Kakamega Homeboys and Ulinzi Stars, with the Kakamega Homeboys actually at the moment having a 1-0 lead in the tie. Kariobangi Sharks will be up next in the next few minutes, and we'll be waiting to see how they fare on against APS Bomet. We'll continue that conversation after the break.
You are watching Scoreline, brought to you by the Sportpesa League, the official new name of Kenya's top flight football competition. This is more than football. It's about talent. It's about passion. It's about communities united by the beautiful game.
Nivea Radiant and Beauty Even Glow Body Lotion